Text-to-speech enabled. Oh, morning, Dimitri. Happy Friday. Happy long weekend. Or, I guess, later today.
Morning. Biking to the camping spot.
Yeah, I probably should. No, I'm biking to work. Then I took the truck home after I dropped them off at camping, so it would be an awesome ride, but I have to drive because I have the vehicle.
Bring bike or kayaks on the camping trip?
We usually do. My kids and wife have their bikes and they've been biking around, but I'm only there for Friday night, Saturday night, and then we're packing up, so I'm probably not going to bring my bike. Kayaks we usually do, but our campsite this time is pretty far away from the water. The beach up there at the campsite, it's one of those beaches where you can walk out.
Oh, you're leaving Sunday?
Yeah, we're coming back on Sunday. You could walk out 200 meters into the water, and the water is only chest deep. So, depending on the time of day, actually 200, like 400 meters, like it's a sand. So with the kayaks, depending on the time of day, you have to walk them.
That's like Wasaga Beach here up north.
Yeah, you gotta walk forever. I mean, it's awesome beach because it's sandy and you can just hang out on the sand, but it's not a great beach if you actually want to go in the ocean. Because the only time you don't have to walk a mile is high tide. So they've been up there riding their bikes around, hanging out on the beach, but...
Is the map off or you're in privacy zone?
Yeah, the map is definitely off. Been having issues with that lately, starting it, and it doesn't actually start. I wish the map app was sort of tied in with the chat app. It would be really cool if everything was integrated.
Wonder how quiet it will be thinking most people took Friday off to extend the weekend.
Yeah, it should be super quiet because it was really busy when I was riding home yesterday. Two of my direct coworkers, they're both off today. I think a lot of people will end up taking today off. Well, and the ferries are having issues right now. Ever since COVID, the ferries have been having massive staffing issues. They can't keep enough staff on for the shifts to actually run some sailings. So they just announced yesterday in the news that they usually put on a ton of extra sailings for long weekends, and they pretty much canceled all of the extra sailings due to staffing issues.
People figured out company don't care about them and still want to pay shit wage.
You know what? That's pretty much exactly it. Because it's not like the population went down. Every single business you go past has a help wanted sign. Like Tim Hortons, like everything. Every business. I could probably apply and get 6 more jobs right now. But yeah, like people just realize that most of these companies are entirely just out for themselves and don't give a shit. So the people now are like, oh, I don't give a shit. It's a long weekend. Oh, I'm sick. I'm sick on the long weekend. Oh, now the ferry can't run. I think it's a different culture happening. You know, back in the day, people used to work for a company and it was loyalty and, oh my gosh, my company, you know, a person would work their freaking ass off and work 60 hours a week for the company, and the company will just lay them off with a snap of a finger. Doesn't matter. Oh, you've been here for 25 years and you've worked 12 hours a day even though you only had to work for 8.
Seems like a lot of big companies did some shady crap during pandemic and workers got nothing.
Yeah. There's one company, Chapman Ice Cream. Chapman Ice Cream gave all of their employees raises during COVID for, you know, sort of COVID relief. And then when COVID ended, they never like went back to the old wage, they just kept the higher wage. It's like the whole quiet quitting thing. I don't like the term quiet quitting because it's incorrect. Because quiet quitting is doing your job. It's just not working 50, 60 hours a week. So it shouldn't be called quiet quitting. It should just be called doing what you're supposed to be doing.
I worked all through pandemic.
Yeah, doing what you're supposed to be doing has nothing to do with quitting. It just means
have probably made more money sitting at home getting that gov check.
yeah, well, and I think that's actually what happened as well. There were so many people who were getting the CERB, and they're like, why do I even need to go to work? Like, the government's handing out fat cash. Like, just feel like I'm going into a tailwind, going really fast.
All these cars, it's crazy to think people are actually buying that many cars.
Yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds in this lot. This is like the drop-off place for Western Canada. But yeah, in general, all these cars are going to get sold to someone.
Crashing all their cars and have to buy new ones.
Yeah.
Driving to the walk yesterday, saw a bus smashed a SUV.
Oh. Now, was it the SUV's fault? Or was it the bus fault? If it's a transit bus, it was probably the SUV fault, because you're supposed to yield the transit buses at all times.
It was transit bus. I only saw the aftermath. It was on a turn and bus going straight, so I guess SUV's fault.
Yeah. There's an intersection in the north of Nanaimo that year after year is rated the worst intersection on the island. And they just put out a report, and there was 61 crashes at this intersection in the last year. So that's at least once a week.
There are some bus drivers that love to go flying on the bus.
Yeah, that is true. Here, the biggest problem that I see is people turning left. Because all the lights here have an advanced left green. So you get the left turn signal, it goes green, and cars go through. Well, the light turns yellow and then red, and every time at least 2 cars go through the red turning left. Every time. Like, the police could sit at every single intersection in Nanaimo and all day long probably hand out 70 to 80 tickets a day at each intersection. When the light turns yellow, it means slow the heck down, not stomp on it and try to get through the intersection left. Because that's what happens is people are turning left, then the light turns green for the people going straight. Well, if you're turning left, the car is like right there.
But they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. So it's like when they put out these reports of like how bad these intersections are, maybe they should care. I just read the report and just think, yeah, whatever, do something about it. Because they're not going to do anything about it. The wind picked up today again. You got some decent wind going on.
Bay City installed 30 kilometers per hour speed sign on my street, but there is zero informant.
Yeah. I like when they put the speed bumps. That actually slows people down. There's a few spots here where they call it traffic calming. And it's like an extreme speed bump, like not a little one, like it's an actual decently sized large bump that if you actually go above 30, your car will fly and do a jump. Those work really well. So
I think they'll do speed bumps on the other road that goes along to school, but for not, it's still a 40 and people go flying on it.
yeah, like with those, you don't need to put signs, because if someone tries to go fast, they're screwed. This tug bringing this barge full of tanker train.
I had a cop beep me because I was going speed limit. He passed me and stopped at the red light ahead of me.
Cop beep you because you're going to. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're doing a good job here, because see, there's bylaws. There's bylaws over there dealing with tent people. I think after that person died in this park on Sunday.
Give them more fines they can't pay.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like, I think they just shoo them along. But it was getting pretty bad there. There was about 10 to 15 people every morning and night just hanging out there, sleeping. It was almost becoming a homeless encampment with the amount of stuff the people had and had set up. Yeah, there's another bylaw enforcement.
To get mental health or health worker, they're talking to them, see what's up.
Well, that's it. And there's nowhere for these people to go. Like, they need mental health issue.
Maybe some would actually want help.
Yeah, well, that's the problem is, like, you can't even offer them help because there's no help. There's no room anywhere to help.
Drug rehab.
It's becoming a massive problem everywhere. You know, people here complain that it's bad here, but you can go anywhere and it's bad.
hire and train them all and bam, job shortage solved.
Yeah, well, you could give them all jobs. The problem is most of them are addicted to drugs, so a lot of them wouldn't show up on time, or they're just working so they can buy more drugs. I bought a new cable for the Nano, a power cable, and I think it's fixed an issue that one of the other issues that I was having. I'm hoping. We'll see after this ride if it fixed it. Look at this. Look at all these Canada flags people putting out.
Are you on the 4 or 2 gig?
I'm on the 2. But I bought a UPS for it. So look at this. Who did this? That's a nice thing. That is nice. But I bought a little 1 battery UPS just to help supplement the power from the battery pack, because the UPS can provide 4 amps where my battery pack can only provide 2.4 amps. I mean, the Nano when streaming never draws above 2 amps anyways, but it's nice to have a little safety net. And then with the UPS, I can swap batteries, like battery packs, and the Nano won't go off, because the UPS battery will last you get about an hour on the UPS battery. But I bought I shouldn't have done it. I should know better. I bought the cheapest, and well, because the UPS has a DC jack, a USB-A to DC cable. So I bought the cheapest cable on Amazon, and it sucked. So the cable, I believe, was limiting the power to the UPS, because as I was riding, the UPS battery was being used, and it shouldn't be used, which means the cable wasn't supplying enough power to the Nano, so the UPS was providing sort of backup. Yeah, so I got a brand new cable that's good for 3 amps, and I've been riding for 31 minutes, and the UPS is still full power. The UPS battery light is still green, showing that it's topped up, because that's how it should work. The battery is producing 2.4 amps. The Nano uses like 1.6, so there should be 0.8 amps extra to keep the UPS topped up if the UPS gets used. But in my system, I didn't have a UPS for a year, and I never had battery issues, so it was the only thing I could think of was the cable. But typical IRL though, buying everything twice. Like, what the hell? I should have known better of buying the super cheap cable, because it didn't have a spec. Where the cable I bought specifically stated it had a max rating of 5 volts, 3 amps. And the new cable is easily twice as thick as the old one, but it's just a waste of money. I've spent so much money on stuff that I end up not using. I have like a big bin of useless cables because they weren't great. I guess it's like any hobby.
Ever thought of add that battery module for the Nano.
Yeah, it's the model name is T201. It's really small. It's nice because it's one battery, just one little battery. I actually have another UPS, a WaveShare brand, but to charge it, it takes 8.4 volts. What the heck battery pack produces 8.4 volts? But the WaveShare battery pack, or UPS, it has 4 batteries, and I used to just run it on its own. Because with 4 batteries, the Nano, I'd get over 4 hours of use out of it. Because the biggest issue, not so much on the B doesn't have this problem. It's just the regular Nanos. Because they can only take, I think it's 3 amps. 3 amps is the max. But what happens is people start putting, multiple modems hooked up to it. And power issues is by far the number one issue people have with their stream setups. Where the UPS alleviates that, because it can provide 4 amps if needed, and the Nano will never ever use or need 4 amps. But what they really should do is when you buy the UPS, they should be giving you a cable with it. One that's decent. That's kind of baloney. So you have to buy it, and then you got to source your own cable out and find one that actually will work.
Are the normal 5V 2 amp battery packs good enough to power the B?
Well, the B, it is, barely. But the thing with the B is it can take PD power. See, the other bonus of the B is the power system is all upgraded. So the idea is you actually need less battery packs because you can power everything from the B. Using a standard Nano, you're gonna like brown out and go offline if you try to power anything off of the Nano. Where the B, you can use like a PD USB-C pack, because I'm pretty sure the Nano has 40 watts, I believe, max output. So that's what makes it better too, is because you lose, like I have 2 batteries, a USB hub, all the cables going between the batteries, the USB hub, and into the Nano. Where the B, you have 1 battery pack, and no USB hub. Everything just plugs into the B. Like it's two things: battery pack, B, done. It's similar to what the Muxer 1 did the same thing. It has uprated power. Which is what you're kind of looking for. You want to streamline your system. So like my wife, she uses the B. She has one battery pack. She has the B, the camera, and like a tethered phone. So like, because right now with my setup with the two batteries, I have one battery. Well, I have two batteries, but the first battery powers the GoPro and the USB hub. The second battery powers the Nighthawk and the Nano. Then the USB hub is plugged into the Nano, but it's powered from the first battery. And then out of the USB hub, I have the mic and my USB tethered phone. It's just a garbled mess. Crazy. Well, I think are you powering the with a battery pack, or I don't know about the 7, but I know on the 9 and the 11, if you power it with an external pack, it won't use the internal battery, but it also won't charge the internal battery.
Yeah, so battery pack was powering GoPro for 7 hours and showing full charge still.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Needs more power to run without battery.
Yes. Yes, I believe it does. It doesn't necessarily use more though. Like, because if you're only streaming at 1080, it's not really working the camera hard. The battery drains really fast if you start trying to film in 4K or 5K. feel like someone went around the whole city, put up flags everywhere. I like it. No, there is a full-on ban. You're actually not allowed to have fireworks in city limits, and there's a fire ban going on. So if you let off fireworks, you are going to get crapped on. Now the city puts on a fireworks show out on the water, on a barge. Yeah, I wouldn't want to right now. Like I say, there's a fire ban, and if you lit fireworks, all your neighbors would definitely call you in. It is way too dry and crispy.
Police made an announcement they are adding more cops at the beaches because of the incident last
year. Well, here, like, we've had, what, 2 days of rain in the last 2 months? Like, the weather hasn't been...
People were shooting fireworks and people in cars.
Oh, yeah, the weather here hasn't been smoking hot. We did have 1 week. We had 1 week where it was crazy hot. But in general, the weather hasn't been really hot, but it hasn't rained.
Personally, I hate him, and it was even worse when we had a dog.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is like dogs and crap. Actually, there was like a dog that had a heart attack in Nanaimo. It was last Halloween. Like, there's fireworks that go off in our neighborhood, and our cats don't care, but there's some people's dogs that just freak the F out. I actually have a big...
People are very stupid with them. We have people shooting them out their front yards. We had here a fire burned down a horse stable, killing almost all of them.
Oh, shit. I actually do have 2 boxes of fireworks in my house. We just haven't had a chance to use them. Because we were going to do them on Halloween because my in-laws live... My in-laws live, they have a big, huge piece of property out near no one else.
Last year, fire burned a bunch of migratory bird area.
Yeah, it's just, I don't mind fireworks in general if people are responsible, but this is a big problem, is people are not responsible at all. Ambulance. Whoa, 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 person! Jeez, man. Idiots. Oh, that was freaking close. Yeah. Like, take your stuff with you. Who, like, I just don't get it. Who the heck does that? Who leaves shit on the ground? That drives me fucking mental. Like, who are these idiots? Like, you brought it in with you, bring it the F out. You actually, like, if you drank everything that was in the bottles, it's actually lighter to bring out.
All the same people complaining about cyclists taking up all the road.
Yeah, gosh. It's funny, when I worked in the bike shop through my high school, we had this old guy from the hiking club. He came bursting into the bike store, and he had like a shopping bag filled with empty beer cans. And he throws the bag down on the counter, and he's like, I'm sick of all you cyclists going out in the bush, drinking all this beer and leaving the cans. If you're gonna go out there and drink beer, bring the cans back with you, you're littering. And all of us are, we're all looking at each other going, dude, like, who the heck do you think, like, cyclists are riding out into the bush drinking beer? What? No, that's totally not any cyclist pounding back a six-pack while you're on a bike ride. Like, come on. My boss freaked on the guy because it was like, first of all, it's not cyclists. Second, you burst into a business yelling and screaming, and the business, yes, sold bikes, but the business doesn't like speak for all cyclists of the land. Yeah. But that's like, I made a post on Facebook, a guy I know. So the E&N trail, which I ride regularly, it had flowers growing along the side of the trail. It looked really nice. It had wildflowers, purple, pink, white. Well, they ran a mower up there and chopped all the flowers down. And everyone was posting, like, why did they need to chop those down? But they do it because it's a fire hazard. So I made a post about, well, if the damn cyclists would stop throwing their cigarette butts in the flowers and catching them on fire, the city wouldn't have to chop them down. And quite a few people understood the joke, but there was a bunch of people who like lost their minds, not realizing it was entirely a joke. Cyclists aren't riding down the pathway smoking